Welcome back, tribe. I have one here from Theo Vaughn. The effects of adult entertainment and online dating go deeper than we think.
So what you got to do is what I'm trying to do with my sons is I'm trying to encourage them to say, okay, get out, talk to strangers, talk to strange women. Also, kind of a segue here, try and modulate your use of porn such that at some point you become so fucking horny you're willing to take those risks.
Yeah, now that's it. We can definitely go there, brother. Because I think that was something that I got sidetracked with pornography for sure, man. You know, and I'll tell you why too. For pornography, for me, it was a relationship that I could manage. Right, it was the first kind of interaction with women. It felt like that I could manage this. It's like
It's low risk.
It's low risk. It's available when you need it to start and when you need it to stop. Right. It was like that was something that was very manageable for me. But then over time, you realize that it kind of devalues women. It makes you think of sex like in just like still frames and instances, right? And you would see sex as individual scenes of things. I would have a date set up, then I would end up masturbating, and then I wouldn't even go on the date because I was like, well, now I don't feel any fire inside of me.
Lose your mojo.
Yeah. And then you do that for a decade and your mojo is a ghost.
But we were talking about school and society and a bias against men that hurts men, right? And what I would say is that one of the biggest obstacles men face right now is the most talented, deepest resource companies in the world that attract the brightest minds and the most capital and have the best technology are all trying to do the same thing. They're all trying to give men the false impression they can have a reasonable facsimile of life on a screen with an algorithm. You don't need
friends. What is a facsimile?
The most nefarious one of this that's coming down the pipeline is inserting these LLM/AIs, whatever, these chatbots that can communicate in real time at human level precision, coded in a way to make you fall in love with them and making you pay a subscription for this shit for the rest of your life. Welcome, you now have an AI girlfriend. She costs whatever a month or whatever based on credits. You're running out of credits, Ted. Bug Sandwich Tim, your credits are out. You need to get more credits. Oh, you want her to talk a little spicier, a little dirtier? You're going to need more credits for that too. Wait a second. You want to see her naked and doing stuff in the virtual world? That's going to be more credits. Tim, we can make you a custom AI video of your girl doing things. That's going to be extra credits. They're going to nickel and dime the shit out of you. And the lonely men, because this is just the next evolution. Look at, like, we had just normal adult entertainment. You go on Pornhub, whatever, and find whatever you want. But then you got OnlyFans is the personalized version. Now these girls are getting absolutely banged out, but will take requests from the fans on their, whatever. It's like a live stream or something. I don't know what it looks like. I guess it's a live stream. So they have a live stream where these guys are donating and they're telling the girl to do stuff, or please say my name. Hey, I'm Bug Sandwich Tim. I'm your biggest donator. Could you please insert this in yourself and say, oh, Bug Sandwich Tim, you feel so good. And then she does it, gets paid, and the guy gets the intimacy that he was lacking before in the adult entertainment where it's just two people doing their thing. So now it's become personal. Now the next step is to just get rid of the women there completely, get your perfect AI girlfriend that will talk to you and make videos for you and always be available. And it could be your therapist, can be your mommy, can be your girlfriend, can be your anything, your support, anything you need. And she's there always to talk to you. Because these girls on the OnlyFans can't do that with tens of millions of subscribers they have. And you have to pay increasingly larger sums the more popular your creators, just like streaming, most likely, to have your message shown or for her to do anything. And then there's the private side of that where the guys will donate privately thousands of dollars for the girl to actually go to their place or for them to fly over and smash. So that's the other side of it that they don't tell you about. For sure that's happening. And now we're moving into that next phase where you have your personal assistant / girlfriend / whatever lover that's AI powered that gives you the attention those girls could never. And the moment VR gets good enough graphically, it's game over, dude. We're headed down a really dark hole because so far, just the damage from, in general, watching porn has absolutely destroyed young men. Now, when you throw in a little chatbot and a personalized experience with memory and context where they know what you did the other day, when they ask you how your day was, if you're still feeling sad from that last conversation, or I'll do the thing you liked that I did last time, it'll make it feel so real. And these guys have never experienced any of this. It's the ultimate drug for a man. And you can get any amount of money. They will become so dependent. I guarantee you this. There will be, watch this. I'm not Nostradamus or anything, but damn, watch how this is going to happen. There will be men that run out of credits and have become so dependent on their girlfriend that they can't afford anymore, that they will off themselves. There will be headline news. Man ends it all. Runs out of credits. Cannot afford his subscription. Felt lonely. Hit endgame. I guarantee droves of men will be doing this. Hey, man, future is so grim. And that's just the beginning.
Sorry.
They can have a fake life. They can have a life on a screen with an algorithm.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't need friends. Having friends is hard. Remember making your posse of friends in elementary and junior high, trying to break into the right pecking order of friends. It was high barriers of entry, but it was high barriers of exit, right? And you learned a lot together. And we used to take off, I think parents overprotect their kids now. I used to leave my mom's house at 9 a.m. on a Saturday with a Schwinn bike, an Abba Zaba bar, and 35 cents, and she wouldn't see me for 14 hours. But what are tech companies? What are the brightest companies in the world? They're the most well-resourced. You don't need friends. You got Reddit and Discord. You don't need to go through the humiliation of trying to get a job and buying a suit and showing up on time. Trade crypto or stocks on Coinbase or Robinhood. You don't need to go through the humiliation, the rejection, the perseverance of trying to establish a romantic relationship, going on dates, being funny, trying hard, enduring rejection, following up. Why? Why would you do that? You got you porn. And what we got to tell men, what we got to convince them of is over the long term, nothing wonderful is going to happen to you on a screen, ever. And also, you porn is a distant second to your porn. I'm convinced I wouldn't have graduated from UCLA if I didn't think there was a reasonable probability that if I went to class and went on campus at UCLA,
Meet a girl.
I might meet someone.
Yeah.
That was my far. And I, quite frankly, if I had you porn at home and I had these new AI girlfriends, I'm not sure I would have ever gone on campus. So this is what young men are facing. They're facing a low risk, low barrier of entry, reasonable facsimile of life that over time they get depressed and lonely.
And that's the biggest part, the depression and the loneliness, because you're out there cooming it, bro. Straight coomer lifestyle, 3, 4, 5 times a day. It becomes not even pleasurable, but something akin to soothing yourself. Whenever you feel stress, anxiety, depression, you go deeper in the hole by doing the very thing that's dragging you down there, straight jacking it. I'm so stressed out because my life is shit and I can't hold down a job. Goes and jacks it to like 6 videos until he's literally released all the energy and fire within him. And now he's just laying there dead on the couch, and he'll just put on a headset and game for the next couple hours until he gets pissed off because his teammates suck. And then from the anger alone needs to release it. But how? He has no healthy outputs. All he does is coom all day. So he's just going to go jack it some more. The energy from within him gone again. And the ambition and the drive never could even get started. The dude is stuck in a death loop. This is what this shit does to a young man. Honestly, it should be illegal. Companies should be getting fined. Look, I don't understand how this is how dirty these companies are. There are states that have tried to ban anybody going on adult entertainment sites unless you show your ID. There's a camp that says, oh my God, they're going after our private information. They just want to know who it is so they can track you and shit. Go fuck yourself. If you're in that camp, go fuck yourself. How about you stop jacking off to adult entertainment and nobody will have your data? Because you want to be able to go on there and jack it being anonymous at the expense of every young boy that's going to get hooked on this stuff and have his life destroyed. If you cannot do KYC, right? Verify with identity, with a driver's license or something, that you are of age on just adult entertainment sites. If you can't get behind that, you are a scumbag piece of shit. Don't care what you have to say. You want at the expense of all our young boys to be able to anonymously jack it off. You're fucking pathetic. And the other camp is, of course, well, we can't do this at the expense of our young boys. So if you're an adult and you want to consume this content, by all means, go ahead. We're not banning it, but we need to regulate it because it's destroying our society. Look what it's doing to our young men. We have the data. We have the research. We have all the anecdotes. We have all the men in this comment section could tell you what a battle porn addiction is. So yeah, if you're on that side, you are a piece of shit. You cannot defend this stuff. We tried. It's making society slide backwards faster than it should. There is no benefit to it. Sorry. You want to consume it? You have the right. You are an adult. But also, don't make it easily accessible for underage people. It messes up girls too, but boys specifically.
Because the reason
Oh, yeah. And these companies, of course, they lobbied against this because it's impossible to enforce, or it would affect our business. Or they try to answer that it was censorship because you clicking, am I 18? Yes, no, is totally adequate security.
Romantic comedies are 2 hours and not 15 minutes. This shit is hard.
Yeah.
But here's the good news. It's worth it. It's absolutely worth it.
What do you think of the effects of like social media are on young men?
Oh, it's a disaster. There's my colleague at NYU, Jonathan Haidt, wrote this book called The Anxious Generation.
Jonathan Haidt?
Jonathan Haidt, H-I-D-T.
Okay.
Essentially, there's a lot of peer-reviewed research, including research that just came out of Oxford, showing that there's about a 60% increase in self-harm, eating disorders, and anxiety for people who spend too much time on social media. Imagine, did you have social media when you were in school?
No, dude, you had to yell at somebody, right?
But imagine the cafeteria.
Graffiti. That was the only social media we had, dude. You'd
Graffiti?
be like, Larry likes dudes. And it was like, well, who knows, bro? But it never told you their last name. It was very...
Dudes.
And it would be like, but now even graffiti, dude, especially like in Brooklyn, it's like Larry likes dudes, but only if he's okay with it. I read that. And I was like, that's not, what is it? Everything's fucking confusing, dude. Nobody cared if Larry liked dudes or not. It was just the fact that somebody got to say it, And then now it's like, only if he's cool with it. It's like, who's right? Anyway, what were you going to say?
The bottom line is social media is bad. It's bad for teen girls and it's really bad for young men. There's a linear correlation between anxiety, eating disorders with young women, anxiety with men, because it's like you never get to leave the high school cafeteria. And it's especially hard on girls in high school because boys bully physically and verbally, girls bully relationally, and we put these nuclear weapons in their hands. They're actually they can be a little bit meaner. And so, and then you take online dating. Anytime you digitize a sector, it becomes a winner-take-most environment. So,
okay, say that one more time. Anytime you digitize a sector, like what does that mean?
Anytime a sector becomes all about the internet. So retail used to be stores.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes online. Mm-hmm. Amazon now controls 50% of all e-commerce, right? We used to go to the Encyclopedia Britannica or to the library to microfiche or to different newspapers. Now we go to Google. Google has 93% of search. Social, Facebook and Meta owns 2/3 of all social media. Online dating, everyone has access to everyone. You think that's good? It's not, because women all want the same dude. And if you have 50 men on Tinder and 50 women, 46 of the women will show all of their attention to just 4 men.
Wow.
So that leaves 46 men fighting over 4 women. And the reality is those women can have sex with the top 10%, but they're usually not going to have a relationship. And because that top 10% of men, 80 to 90% of the opportunities, they can engage in what I refer to as Portia polygamy. And that is, it doesn't encourage long-term good behavior. It doesn't encourage them to settle down. Whereas when we were kids, you went to your church, your temple, your high school, and you kind of figured out your weight class. There were 8 single women at your temple, 8 single men, and you sort of paired off.
Yeah.
And men had an opportunity to demonstrate excellence at some point. If you talk to married couples that have been together longer than 30 years, 75% of them say one was much more interested in the other, and it was always the man who was much more interested. But over time, she saw that he was kind.
Wow.
She worked with him. He was good at what he did. So where do men demonstrate excellence now? And then a man goes online. Here, check out this stat. On Tinder, a man of average attractiveness has to swipe right 200 times to get 1 swipe back for 1 coffee.
Mm.
And then 4 of 5 of those coffees will ghost him. Her screen will come up again and she'll decide not to show up for a coffee. So a guy of average attractiveness on a dating app has to swipe right 1,000 times to get a coffee. So he feels rejected by women. He becomes much more prone to misogynistic content online.
Yeah.
Prone to conspiracy theory, less likely to believe in climate change.
And he's hopped up on caffeine.
Oh my God, bro. Come on with this climate change shit. Why do we have to throw some shit in there like that?
Too, because he's been fucking sitting there sipping by himself,
In some, he becomes a shitty citizen. So social media and online dating have been really bad for young men and women. I think online dating has been especially rough on men.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like to be online dating. I haven't been on. I'm like 7 years off of it. Raya won't let me on there because I told an awesome joke on Twitter that they got offended by, I guess. But I didn't want somebody to be able to say no to me when I wasn't there in person. That's how it felt to me.
Right.
I just didn't want to give somebody that pleasure that they could say no. And even though it's not a real no, it's all very hypothetical, but I just didn't want to allow somebody to have that. But then also, by not doing that, it is harder. You have to meet people in real time, in real life,
Right.
And so it is more of a challenge, but it's also, it is, I guess, you just feel like you're not getting rejected.
Let's see what the comments say. Almost 2 hours off porn. Quitting, that stuff was probably the best thing I ever done. You really see the world differently. Kind of like when you were a kid, when you weren't afraid of anything, just went for it, not attached to an outcome or just having courage in anything, really. Deleting social media also saved me from being depressed. Highly recommend everybody try these two things for a few months and see how you feel. I totally agree with that. I started watching at 20. Oh, he started watching that stuff 20 years ago. 5 to 6 years ago, it started taking a huge toll on my life. I realized it, and 4 years ago, I decided to stop. For 3 years, I would relapse weekly, then monthly, and now I haven't watched a single video in a year. Disgusting and awful addiction that took a lot of work to get clean of. Yeah, bro, it is a disgusting feeling. If you ever want to kind of speed that feeling up and try to quit, put the phone facing you while you're in your little whack-off session. Have the phone recording you in a video and do your little thing where you're whacking yourself off. You're searching for the perfect scene, the videos, you're scrolling through the pages nonstop with your nasty ass little disgusting, whatever it is that you're making the noises with frustration building that you can't find the right scene, or it zooms in on the dude's face as you're trying to nut. Or his butthole or something. It's fucking funny as shit. And record that, dude. Record that whole experience. And then once you're done and, the energy is drained out of you and you feel a little bit of that post-nut disgust with yourself, watch the video right then and there. Look at yourself. Look at how pathetic you look, how disgusting you look, how weak you look. Maybe that might help you. Maybe. Some guys might need to hold that mirror up and see what they look like in the act. Maybe that would be a strong enough trigger to be like, what am I doing, bro? This is so beneath me. Maybe try it out, guys. It might help. The most practical thing a young man can do to immediately improve his life is to stop watching that stuff. Yeah, beautiful. Thoughts on this episode? Your problem with whacking it? I know that's a huge issue. It shocked me just when guys can't even keep a promise to stop touching themselves for like a week. You have an issue then. That's insane how much this has gripped young men. I don't know. Anyways, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Appreciate you tuning in, man. As always, hope you guys are getting some value out of these. Sign up to the second channel if you haven't. That's purely on self-improvement, topics like this, men-centered stuff, chats from the community. And if you like what you see, perhaps sign up, join us on some of those calls. Anywho, take care, everybody. Protect your energy, men especially.